Well, hello there. Have you ever been curious about every single deck that I have in my collection? It's long overdue that I share my current tarot, oracle, etc. deck collection. Y'all, this isn't going to be done in one video. I have hundreds of decks. Probably, I think I'm around 250-ish in my collection overall. But here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do a totally chaotic tarot deck collection and maybe some decluttering as we go. And I've decided, instead of trying to do it all fancy pants like, because listen, your girl is busy, we're just going to grab a clump of decks, a pile, a basket, a handful, an armload, however I feel like many doing in each video. And we're just gonna do it. And hopefully somehow I will keep track of which ones I have shared and which ones I haven't. But there may end up being a couple repeats that show up depending on how chaotic this series actually is. But there will be some mild sort of organization because I'll be pulling probably from a rack or a basket or a shelf or whatever all at once and doing that section all at once. But we're gonna get into it. So if you wanna just see basically everything, you'll want to keep an eye on this series. I think the last time I did a collection update was in 2021. I might have done one in 2022, but y'all, I really don't think so. So this is going to be a wild ride. We're going to strap in. We're going to start off with my basket of mostly minis and etc. I don't know what to call this, but this is what we're going to look at. All of these. So let's get started. This is a basket that actually lives right next to my reading table and usually has minis. It's gotten a little overflowing, so I'm hoping we can declutter one or two things at least out of this basket today, but I mean, I'm not that committed to letting things go. Yeah, so it's mostly minis, so I might add the hashtag. There was some hashtag about show me your minis, I think is what it was called, or something. I might add that to the title and the description box so that y'all who are interested in minis can see that. So, but I'm going to start out with a couple of, I mean, there's also a few non-minis in here. So like chaotic deck collection, here we go. Let's just kick off with the things that are sitting on top, which are these. Well, these are two of the things sitting on top. These live in this basket because they're being referenced a lot for me right now. Look, this one matches my cloth. Look, you know, this is my Rider-Waite-Smith, just my basic classic Rider-Waite-Smith. This is the Debris or Debris. I don't know how the heck you say that. Rider-Waite-Smith. It is a lovingly restored version of the original Waite-Smith deck. The line work in this deck is very, very clean, and it's a beautiful linen finish cardstock. When this first hit everybody's attention, it was on Amazon for something ridiculous, like $10 or something. Like, it was so cheap. Debris or Debris is an independent deck producer, but they had just done such a good job on this, and the quality of the deck is really nice. And I just love it because it's so clean. There's not these super extra thick lines. It's like things have been cleaned up. I mean, there still is. Like, we know the Eight of Cups has a lot of thick, heavy line work here, but I just like how nice it feels to shuffle. It feels really good. And I don't read with the classic Waite-Smith almost ever, but I love having a good, clean copy of the original, or an original version of it, I guess you could say, because there's different ones. I'm not a Waite-Smith expert. I know there's like a Pam A and a Pam B and all this other stuff. I don't know. I just know that this one is good. It's clean and it's easy to work with. So I love this. This isn't going anywhere, and this is always handy in case I need to reference the Rider-Waite-Smith for any reason. That's what the backings look like. I will try to find a link to this. I think you can get it directly from this maker's website now. I don't know that it's on Amazon anymore. There are a lot of copies of it, but this one just has lovely cardstock, and I love it. It's not going anywhere. This is sort of like a, this is a project. This is actually the Rainbow Moon Tarot, which I don't read with, but I wanted a deck. I've read with it a bit, and it's fine. I really like it. It's actually quite fun. But I wanted a deck that I could use to play with my keyword system. So a lot of you know that I like having a single keyword for every card. And when I was working on my book that I was writing for Llewellyn, which is called Unlocking the Tarot, Create Your Own Keys, and it's due out October 8th. I mean, like, not me plugging my stuff, but I'm very, very proud of it. But anyways, that book is all about sort of teaching the single keyword method and also sort of guiding others towards words that may or may not work for you in that process, and sort of really diving deep in every single card. And so I really honed and perfected my keywords through that book process. And I wanted to have a deck where I could write. Once I was very, very settled on the keywords I was going to stick with for that book, I added them to this deck. And so now I have sort of a reference deck of those keywords, and I really, really like that. So that is what I used the Rainbow Moon Tarot for. So this is kind of, again, like a reference deck for me. It's in order, and I will probably end up using this a bit in videos where I talk about the book, or maybe in a study group, because I know I want to go through Unlocking the Tarot with my members in a book club study of some kind. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I wanted to have a deck that I could use with that. And the Rainbow Moon is a really great, fun, diverse, kind of funky deck for that. So that is what this is for. And it's just sitting there, again, kind of like a reference, much like this Rider-Waite-Smith. So that's what that's for. Let me have a sip of my pop. We're going to be here for a while. Okay. That's that. Do I have anything else full size in here? Okay, so I have a couple of other full size things. And then, because I have kind of collections within collections in here. So I have all my Lenormand in here. And then I have all of my Marseille. So let's actually do my Marseille-ish collection next. So these are my, I have to reorganize this thing, like, for real. So a lot of these are actually minis, but not all of them are minis. So let's talk about my Marseille decks. So much like I have that Debray Waite-Smith deck, Waite-Smith version, I have this Nicolas Conver Tarot de Marseille by Artisan Tarot. These people make beautiful decks. I just have to say, this is the one that they sent me, and I did a whole video about this deck, if I remember correctly. This may have been a prototype. I think this may have been a prototype before it hit Kickstarter. But it's, again, another situation where the lines are very, very clean. So I wanted a good, classic, clean. It's no accident that the Debray and this one are also both on linen cardstock. I wanted a classic, clean Marseille tarot that I could use for study, that I can use for reference, and it's a linen cardstock. It's very easy to shuffle. It's really beautiful. Again, the lines are really clean, and it's a classic. And I really wanted a classic in my hands for study, for reference, etc. I don't really read with this particular deck, but I'm so grateful for it. I've never been tempted to let it go. It's perfect for a classic Marseille. And I keep it in that basket because Marseille for me is something I use kind of in a very intentional way. And this is my Fancy Pants Marseille. This is just an aesthetically beautiful deck. This is one of those decks that, like, I love owning because it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful object. Again, I love the artwork in this deck. This is a Marseille, but it's all based on mythical creatures, as you can see. And so the majors and the courts feature these beautiful mythical creatures, and there's a lot of decoration in the pips. It's just absolutely breathtaking, this deck. I love the way that the foiling is done. It's a little bit more subtle than some of Baba Studio's other decks. So I love this. I became a fan of this deck when it was in black and white, but I knew I wanted to wait for it to come out in color because at the time they were working on it to come out in color. So this is the Mythical Creatures Marseille. Again, this is very safe in my collection. It's going nowhere. And let's just keep it focused on Marseille for a minute here. I'm going to pop these. I'm going to create piles for now. Okay, so then as far as Marseille goes, I'm going to just, yeah, I'll just pop these back in the back. This, yeah, again. Okay, I've only got three other Marseille decks. So the Tarot Sirene, I've had this for a long time. This one, I'm tempted to let this one go, actually. It's really cute, but I'm never, like, it doesn't stand, I don't know how to say what I'm about to say. It doesn't stand out to me. Like, I noticed that it has a bow just from, like, sitting in the box. Like, it's got that kind of vertical, like, this way bow. I haven't shuffled it a ton. I loved that it was mermaids, and this was by the same people that did the Marshmallow Marseille, which was quite popular. This is really sweet, but I don't really find myself reaching for this. And I do love the watery, mermaidy vibes, and it's really cute. I think I could consider maybe, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a little pile of decks I could see myself possibly letting go at the end of this video, and then I'll make some decisions at the end. But it's got really beautiful shimmery backs. I don't know if this is still in print or not. Like, I don't know if you can still get it, but it is real cute. So let me just pop this back in its little box, and I'll set it up at the top for consideration. This I freaking love, and I would definitely, this is mass market. This is the Squid Cake Marseille by Jess Roller. It was an indie deck originally. It's so stinking cute. The baby pink edges, the backs. It's the same size, actually, I think. as the Marshmallow Marseille. Yeah, like these are essentially the same size. So I think when it comes to like having a mini or like a pocket-sized Marseille, this one is great. But this one has over the Tarot Sirene and over actually the Artisan Tarot, even Mythical Creatures, is it's got a very, very succinct little guidebook. One that really allows me to get an interpretation and actually just pull this out and read with it really, really easily without having to remind myself specifically about Marseille. Plus, I love the color palette. It's real dang cute. It's real dang cute. Yeah, this one is safe for sure. I love the little guidebook. It really is such a selling point. Love, 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 love. So that one is definitely safe. But I think because I have this one, I probably do not need my Tarot Sirene. So I think, and I'm not a big Marseille person. Like, I don't feel like I need a lot. And these are all very, very, very different. Okay, and then my last Marseille, this is kind of in a world of its own. My last Marseille is the new Pip Speak Tarot. This is also very, very safe. I'm so freaking excited that this thing exists. You just don't know. I'm a huge fan of the Playful Heart Tarot. Zara Kitten Chops created the Pip Speak. I knew she was working on this a long time ago, and I've been very, very, very excited about it to come out. It's beautifully edged. This is so great. I freaking love this. This feels traditional while still being fun. I love this particular card size. It actually is, I'm very fond of this card size. It's smaller than standard tarot, but it's still got that tarot shape and feel. There's all these like sweet little like foil details on these cards that I just freaking love. I am a mega fan of Zara's work, of her art, and it's just, there's something about it that's so raw and real and beautiful. And I love the color palette of this. Now this also has a little guidebook, but it just gives some kind of like basic guidance, right? Some basic number energy, some basic court card energy, that kind of thing. So there's some good stuff. And then there's some books, bibliography about Pip Tarot books. I just really love this. There's also some extra cards, a few little things that I just keep those in the back. I love the little drawer to hold your decks, your cards. I love the backs. It's linen. It's beautiful cardstock. I love that the drawer comes out the top and not the bottom. Like, this is perfect. So I think for Marseille, this is all I need. I think I am going to probably, we're going to keep that set aside, but I think I'm going to be letting that go. So we're going to pop these back in this section of my basket. Maybe I'll actually make some progress here, guys. Okay, and then let's talk about this. This is another Pip deck that I keep in this little basket. This is the Tarot of the Alchemical Magnum Opus by Robert M. Place. Now, a lot of people love his Alchemical Tarot or his Sevenfold Mystery Tarot. This is my favorite. I really love this. I think it distills the alchemical information down really, really beautifully and very succinctly, very clearly. Even this little book is actually helpful. It makes sense. It works. If you have not read Robert M. Place's big book, which is Alchemy History. Let me just walk you over to my bookshelf with me while I read the title. The Tarot, Magic, Alchemy, Hermeticism, and Neoplatonism, 2nd edition. I'll just show you the book by Robert M. Place. This is an incredible book. It's so good. And it sounds really intimidating, right? It sounds so intimidating, but it is so good. And this is kind of like a mega guidebook for the Alchemical Tarot. Like, I've marked mine all up. The Alchemical Tarot, the Tarot of the Sevenfold Mystery are both referenced in here. You would think this would be a very difficult read, and maybe it's just me. I don't think it is, though. But I found this so good as a just really, really juicy academic book. Like, mine is all beat up. Like, I've put tabs in it for different things. It's so good. And I did study the Alchemical Tarot with this book, and I loved that experience. But what I got out of this was so much more distilled in this deck that this is the deck that stole my heart, and this is the one that I keep. So it is a Pip deck, but it holds on to enough imagery to tie you right back into Rider-Waite-Smith if that's where you want to be, with the exception of the majors being really directly tied to the alchemical process. So here we have for justice, fermentation, and then greater disillusion for the tower, resurrection for judgment. Excuse me, judgment. Yeah, okay. There's our Fool. Greater conjunction for the Sun. But you can see some like hints, some like almost Marseille-like vibes to this, but this is the Red King for the Emperor. This is very much a solid, like, alchemical based tarot. And it really pulls that in a very clear, easy to understand kind of way. Plus, it's genuinely an enjoyable pip deck to use. I feel like when I'm looking for a pip deck, this really does the job in a beautiful way without, I don't get lost in this. I don't get lost in this, but I love that I can pull in the alchemy. It's really, really good. Circulation for the wheel. It's really good. I think it's very much an underrated deck. I think that oftentimes the Sevenfold Mystery and the Alchemical Tarot, which are arguably like more beautiful as far as like how much art you get, whereas this is quite stripped back. I feel like the other decks get more attention, but I really think that if you're interested in a tarot that really pulls in alchemy, this is so much easier for me to translate that alchemy into than the Alchemical Tarot is, believe it or not. Because Alchemical Tarot has just so much more going on. It can be hard to kind of focus on the key points. And with this, it's not that way at all. So when I really want to work with alchemical energy, this is what I work with. This is very much safe in my collection as well. Okay, let's talk Lenormand decks. And they're not all here. And I've got some stuff that doesn't belong here in here. But let's pull these out because I think I can probably trim some of this back, maybe? Question mark? I think, possibly. Is that everything? Okay, that's everything for Lenormand. Okay, let's talk about all of these. Whew, okay, I don't even know where to start. Okay, so let's start here because this one is currently empty. And this is also out of print, so this one is safe. This is the Claire de Lune Lenormand. Unfortunately, that's all I can show you. I'll show you an example of the cards, actually. But I've been using these in my envelope readings for the year. So if you missed that video, I'll try to remember to click it or link it up in the description box. But I have been doing these preloaded readings for the entire year. So I have 3 card readings for every month that I put in an envelope along with tarot and oracle and other stuff. So that is where these cards are. This is what the backings look like. They're so pretty. Anyways, I think this Lenormand is out of print, but it's by Anna Turian. It was a self-published little Lenormand deck, and it's colored to look like moonlight. It's so pretty. It came in a tin in the early editions that she even put this little piece of, oh yeah, I had some sample cards here because there's the extra man and woman. But she even had a little piece of felt. I think she did this by hand, put the little felt in. Anyways, and then she ended up publishing it with, like I think in a tuck box or something. But I've had this forever. I loved it. I wanted it for a long time, and then I scooped it up on one of the last times that she did a run of these. And now I don't think you can get it anymore. This is very safe in my collection. I think that's clear, but love that deck. Oh, I've got to make some decisions, I think, in these other ones. Okay. This one should also be safe. This is the cute little Lenormand. This is just a freaking adorable Lenormand deck, and I recommend this like crazy because it's mass market. It's so inexpensive. I think I got mine even on Book Depository, so I even got it for a discount. But it comes like this gorgeous, like super thick, lots of information, but very easy to read book all about Lenormand. Like it's quite substantial. And then these cards come in the back, and you think that they would be crap, right? But they actually are basically just decent, basic mass market cardstock. There's nothing extra cheap about them. They're not perforated on the edges or anything, but it's a very clear and sweet little Lenormand deck. And I honestly genuinely love it. It's very clear. This matters to me. I really like Lenormand decks that are not very busy. And this one is not. It's modern. It's fun. It's got my color palette. It's got a unicorn. Look at the dog card. It's so cute. It's got a unicorn in the rider. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. It's just perfect. I love it so much. It's super simple, but it works. And it's got everything. The only thing I wish is that the ways, usually I'm used to seeing 2 roads, but you have partner, you have querent in a jacket and partner rather than man and woman. So it's a very, yeah, here we go. So you have querent and partner as little jackets. So it's a very accessible and approachable little deck. I freaking love it, I gotta say. And it's in this cute little Peggy pouch. So this one's safe. I love this little deck. I recommend it all the time. It's just great. It's great. It's fabulous. We love it. Love to see it. And I reference that book all the time. Okay, here's another one. Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's look at this one. This one's also safe. This is such a sweet deck. I don't really ever use it very much, but it's personalized to me. So this was actually made for me by Julie over at Peekaboo Rose. This is the little Bitmoji Lenormand, and she did this up for me. It was so sweet of her. And she did one for Peggy too. Oh my God. And this is sort of like what color my hair used to be. Now I'm back to my blonde color. But it's really super cute, and what I love the most is it's personalized, right? So we had the Yoga Moon card, the child card. I gotta show you the Peggy one in here. There's the rider with me, basically my Bitmoji riding a unicorn. So freaking cute. And then instead of like a partner card, like the traditional like man or whatever, there's the me card, the querent card. There is a Peggy card in here for me. Look at the ladybug. I freaking love it. That's the garden card. It's perfect. There it is. She put Peggy's Bitmoji in for my partner card. So it's just perfect. Like, it's so freaking cute. This is like a piece of like my personal, I don't know, this is like something I would keep forever, I think, even if I was never reading with Lenormand again, because it's like a little piece of my personal little tarot tube past. I don't know. It's like, it's just a sweet memory. It's got a lot of stuff, but I love it. I think it's super cute. I don't, like I said, I don't really use it very often. I don't think of it very often, but I freaking love it. I freaking love it. It's so cute. And again, it was just really sweet of her to have done that. So yeah, there we go. That's safe, clearly. Oh my gosh. I don't think I'm going to make much progress here, y'all. Okay, we have the new version of the Sparkly Lenormand by Kimberly San. Oh my gosh, she updated this, and I freaking love the update. It also has a little guidebook. I think this video is going to be so long. How long have I been here? Oh, 20 minutes. I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. This should still be in order. Is it? Yeah, it's still in order. So we have just this. It's just so stinking cute. This one's so cute. My problem is this one ends up competing with that stinking cute little Lenormand, which is not fair because this is so much. I mean, this is an indie deck. It's really cute. It's really cute. I freaking love it. Oh, I just have to decide if I can let something else go. I do really, really like this card. This deck, rather. I let my old version go, and partly because of the man and the woman card. The man had a funky mustache, and I thought it was a creepy face, and it weirded me out. And so Kim fixed it, and it cracks me up. She talks about it in her video, and it makes me laugh so hard. She's like, we can't scare Lisa. And so she fixed the card. She updated the mustache. I love the new mustache. It's really cute. But then she also added a goose card, which is so cute, a non-binary, a person card, another person card, and a lemon tart card, which is so cute. I don't know. This is stinking adorable. I don't know. I don't know, though. I'm not bonded to it at the moment. But it's so stinking cute, though. Okay, I think it needs to stay. I think it needs to stay. I'm not having much luck, y'all, with my Lenormand so far. Okay, let's talk about the Celtic Lenormand. This is another one I don't think I can bring myself, but I don't ever use it, but it's so special. I think this is one I would miss if I didn't have it. It's very different because instead of the classic like Lenormand style, you also get with every card, you get what the card means in general, but then you get spiritual meaning, a dark and light meaning, a spell use, timing, an affirmation, and deities associated with each card. It kind of goes in a little deeper, and it is a pretty good little guidebook. This is another one that I think is really good if you're just getting started with Lenormand and you really want a book that's going to give you a lot to go on. There's a lot in here. But I also really love how customizable this deck is. So I keep it under the tray. But these are all the cards you can customize. You've got a different rider card, a different tree card, a different snake card, 2 other options for birds. I'll show you which ones I have. A different child, a different woman, a different man, and a cat instead of the dog card. If you're a cat person rather than a dog person, which I think is so great. And this is the art by Will Worthington, who did the Druid Craft and the Wildwood Tarot art. And it's just an objectively really pretty deck. But in truth, and it's so kind of pagan-y and Celtic feeling. I do really like it. I think part of my problem, and the reason I'm struggling here is because I feel like I have too many Lenormand decks, but I don't read with Lenormand a ton. And at the same time, I really like having a little collection. There's the dog card for me. I was going to show you my birds, but I think I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. So that's the rider card I use. Let's find the birds that I have in here because they're really great. Oh, and that's the tree I'm using right now. But you can trade out. This is the oak. You can trade it out for the holly. It's just such a really well done, beautifully illustrated Lenormand. There it is. I'm using the owls instead of birds. And I use this snake, not the transformation version of the snake, because that just is more in alignment with how I read the Lenormand. It's such a great deck. Again, I feel like this is something I'm having more to collect than to use at this point, but it is lovely. And I feel like I'd cycle into it again, so that's got to stay. Oh, this is not, I feel like this is not going very well. I mean, I guess it's going fine. I need to sort these by size. Hold on. That's a little better. I'm just not me organizing my basket while we go. Okay. This is obviously safe. This is the Little Monsters Lenormand. If you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of the Monst Tarot by Joanna Nelson. I love her work, her artwork in general, but I'm very fond of the Monst Tarot universe. And this is a Monstero Lenormand, basically. Only it's not Monstero, it's little monsters. So freaking cute. This was highly anticipated for me. I freaking love it. This is never going anywhere. It's like just all the monsters from the Monstero world, but in a Lenormand. Like, it's perfect. No complaints. Works for me. I do wish the monsters in the significator cards were a little less gender feeling. We have this monster, which is in like a top hat. And then there's another monster, which I think has a more feminine appearance, which is fine. It just does lock us in a little bit. And one of the things I love about monsters specifically is that they're not very gendered by nature. Yeah, here's the other monster. So it's like a dress and a top hat. So that's the only thing, is I wish these were more like, I don't know, more neutral in their appearance, because then you can play with them a little more. Like, it works fine for me, but that's the only thing. If I could change something about it, that's what I would change. But it's a really sweet little deck. Obviously safe for me, not going anywhere. Yeah, we're really not making progress. Okay, and I love these. Okay, wait. Okay, this is the 1889 Lenormand, and I love this for its size. This is also out of print, I believe. I love this for its size, but I also just love the look of this. It feels very old world. Yeah, see, I love this. And it's a linen cardstock. It doesn't shuffle. I don't know if this is going to make sense. It doesn't shuffle like linen. Like, it's got a linen, like a kind of a linen finish, but it doesn't have that snappy, like, it's not casino cardstock. I feel like this is just a very grown up. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, I can probably put this on the chopping block because I love looking at it. It's like cute, or sorry, it's cool looking. It's very like old world. It feels very serious. But if I'm thinking serious Lenormand, right, then I'm really thinking the Celtic one is more my style than this one is. This has kind of got this like Victorian-ish, I don't know, don't take my word for time periods, I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's kind of got that sort of feeling for me. It's a little bit Gothic, a little bit old world. Well, I guess 1889, is that Victorian? Somebody tell me, I don't know. I think I might be able to put this on the chopping block. Now, just a word of warning as I go through these collection videos over the next however many months till we get through them all. When I put things on, when I decide to like let things go, I'm really just purgatoring them. I'm putting them aside to later be considered for whether I miss them or not. So they'll probably sit in purgatory, which is just storage basically. And then if after a long time I find I'm not missing them, then I might let them go, particularly with out of print. So these aren't for sale, not yet. They'll probably just be set aside for a while, and we'll see if I miss them, and then we'll go from there. But I think those can both go on the chopping block. So that's some progress. And then we have the green Glyphs Lenormand, and I do also love this. And this is the Kickstarter version of this deck. So it's got these fancy foiled cards, which I put in the deck to work with. It's got this lovely like soft touch finish. It's got a color coding system. Oh, Peggy's sneezing in the background. We don't care. We're okay. We're okay. I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to over edit these videos. This is really cool, and I actually have two copies of this deck because I also have a set that came in the big box set that James R. Eads did. But you know what? I'm looking at this, and I do love this. I really love the book that comes with this deck. I bet you, though, if I'm being honest with myself, as much as I love this and I love the system, I'm not inspired by the color palette. I think it's a really, really good deck, and I think the book is incredible that comes with this deck. And see, here's another example of having really good people cards. So we have person, person two, and they're facing different directions, so you can really work with them. You've got the lady and another lady. You've got a gentleman and another gentleman. So you've got lots of options for people cards. I think I'm actually going to put this on the chopping block. Now, I do have a backup copy because I do have a bunch of green glyph stuff, but that might not survive the next round either. So, and this little Kickstarter edition is so sweet, and I feel like should go to somebody who can enjoy and appreciate it. So I think I'm going to put that. Ooh, that was unexpected. I really thought that one was safe. But I think I'd be okay to let it go because I do have, when it comes to more serious decks, again, I have the Celtic, which I think I would reach for a lot more if I didn't have green glyphs in 1889 to like lean into. And I've got some sweet, like sort of fun and playful Lenormand. And then I also have this. Now this is another one that I feel like is just special and is out of print. I'm not going to let this one go. I feel like it's unique in its function. But this is by Robert M. Place and Rachel Pollack. And this is obviously irreplaceable. It's got a really great full-size book. It's also got this little booklet with it. It's also got an extra man and woman card in here. And it's also got a couple of extra bonus cards. But this is a very sort of spiritual, serious feeling Lenormand. So it's one that I feel like is really great for deeper readings, which is not the kind of thing I normally go to Lenormand for. But the book with this is just incredible. So I don't know if I said what it's called. It's called The Burning Serpent Oracle. It's much busier than I prefer regular Lenormand to be, but the book is incredible. It's incredible. It's got so many layers to it. There's a lot of sort of deity energy in this deck. So again, it feels like a more serious deck in a way. It doesn't feel like a regular Lenormand. It kind of feels like it's in a class all its own. And I do love Robert M. Place's art style. And I love seeing it in this form because, like I said, I don't have the Alchemical Tarot or the Sevenfold Mystery. And so this one kind of scratches that itch for some of Robert M. Place's artwork. But it does also have, instead of just a person and a person one and person two, or man and woman, you also have Isis and Osiris, which come in as extra cards in this deck. But when they come up, they feel like they speak to divine masculine, divine feminine energies, and I really love that aspect. We have the Book of Life, the Burning Serpent. There's just a lot to dig into with this particular deck. The Owl and the Mouse. The Dead Tree is also a different take on some. There's just some really cool takes on the themes of Lenormand in this particular deck. It's not one that I find myself reaching for a ton at all, but I do think it's really special. And again, the big book that I got to go with this is very, very substantial, and I really like it. So yeah, that one is safe. All right. Okay. Progress. We got some extra kind of things that sort of live in a class all their own. So let's talk about those. And then we'll go through the rest of the minis. Okay. These two are both very safe. This is just a playing card deck. It's a Bicycle Vintage. It says Bicycle Vintage, but the Amazon listing shows it's by Fournier. I don't know how you say that. I'm going to get rid of the title card. I don't need that. And I don't need that blank card either. Okay, so I'm going to keep my jokers. This is just a very intentionally worn looking playing card deck, which I got for playing card divination / playing card divination study. And I'm still very much in the study phase of this. And I love it. That's it. It's the only one that I have set aside specifically for divination. I have other playing card decks that are super fun. But this is the one that I got specifically for its sort of like magical divination feel. So that's going to live in the same section of my basket here as Lenormand usually does, because I got some room there now. And then this is in a class all its own. This actually doesn't even live in this basket. It lives on the table next to this basket because this is always out. This is like my Linus Blanket deck. It's a self-care tool for me more than it is something else. And I use it for myself. I don't know that I've pulled this for clients ever. I don't think I have. And actually, Kim is working on a new version of this deck as we speak for just to update, I think, the printing to make it a little easier to look at. So it's white on pastel. I love this version. It's very soft. And I think the version that she's working on now is either going to have black text or is going to have like a dark colored text that sort of coordinates. But this is just a really, really nourishing, hold your hand when life is hard kind of deck. And I just love having it for a quick little self-soothe sort of message. But it's not like a toxically positive deck. It's the kind of self-care or affirmation you need when you're really genuinely struggling. And you don't want to have someone just like tell you everything's fine when it's not fine. It's very real in its messaging. And when I was going through or have gone through really, really, really tough times, this is 100% of the time the deck that I reach for in those moments. Not exclusively necessarily, but it is my very, very favorite for when I really genuinely need, not a hug, but like someone to sit with me in difficulty. That's what this deck kind of does for me. That goes over there. Okay, that brings us to minis. Let's start off with mini oracles. I only have a couple, actually. And I think one of them might not be staying. Is that right? I think that's it for oracle. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so these are my mini oracles. Sacred Threads is very safe. This is the oracle deck by Dawn Michelle. And she's got another one in this size that I really need to get, the Finders Keepers. I haven't gotten it yet. I really need to pick that one up. But I was immediately drawn to this one, the Sacred Threads. These are all images that Dawn drew and really great keywords. I love this artwork. I love the size, and it's on beautiful cardstock. It's linen, black core, beautifulness. It's gorgeous. Great, great keywords to work with. And it's like almost like photos, but it's not photos. It's got that photorealistic quality to it. I love Create with the spider web. Really beautiful images. I love it, and it shuffles so nice. Yeah, it's perfect. So that is Sacred Threads. That's safe, and that's really my go-to when it comes to a pocket-size oracle. This is my go-to. I've had others in the past. This is the only one that is stuck. So that's safe. This one, listen, I don't know. I don't think this one's going to stay. I got this on a discount, and my Earthworm card that came with it is miscut. So it's actually cut. Let me just flip it around, see if you can hopefully see. It's actually too short. Like it's the whole top of it's been cut off, which is hilarious for that card. It's like it was a whole printer mishap. So the Earthworm card is no good. Like in theory, I really like this. I got it because it was in a tin, and I just wanted to see how I would feel about it. But there's no keywords, and because of the style of artwork, it's really difficult to add keywords. So yeah, I think this one can go. This was just like an experiment. I knew it was an experiment when I got it. I do love the unicorn card though. That's really cute. And I think there is a dragon also. Let's just see. I'm pretty sure there is. Let's see if I'm making that up. Oh yeah, I don't love this tarantula card either. I forgot about that. That one's a little intense for me. Hello? There we go. Phoenix. Oh, and dragon. There's dragons. There's dragon and unicorn. I know that's one of the things I liked about it. And cosmic egg. I had this in full size ages ago. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. I got the tin because I was hopeful. I'm really curious about this size, actually. Hold on. I'm going to just test something. This is just my deck creator brain kicking in right now. Hold on. I just need to see. Oh, it's a little bit taller than a low Scarabeo. Yeah, it's got kind of a tall, skinny... We'll talk about that one in a minute. It's got kind of a tall, skinny vibe. Yeah, I think this one can go on the chopping block for sure. And we'll review those at the end of this video. Okay. My real minis, like my mini minis. Is this it? Oh, I've got one more, but it's in my purse. Oh, no, that's it. That's my mini. I don't think there's any other minis. If I catch other decks kicking around, I'll show them in another video, but I think these are it for mini. Oh, no, and this one's also quite mini. Why am I trying to categorize? It doesn't matter. We're just gonna pull these all out. Okay, let's just do them one at a time. So I've got more than this, but this is my miniest mini. And this is the Everyday Witch. This is in one of Peggy's old mini pouches, but they were before they were sized up just ever so slightly. This is the Everyday Witch Tarot Mini, and it's so stinking cute. I love this deck, and it's such a tiny little one. It's perfect without a box in this little pouch to just chuck in a literal pocket. It's like a great size. For that, it's quite detailed artwork, but I love having it tiny for a pocket deck. It's really nice sometimes to have a deck that you know you can just chuck in your purse and read with, and this one has been my go-to like mini, like proper mini deck for like forever. It's one of the few tiny decks that I haven't let Peggy steal because I really like this one. So I love that. I'm going to set this aside because I might, actually, let's compare, because I feel like I want to compare while we're here the sizes of some of these minis just to see. So I'm just going to pull one little card out for comparison's sake. Okay, and then we have the Nicolet Tarot mini. This is a low scarabeo. I really love the size of this mini. So just to show you the difference, it's like, it doesn't seem like a big difference. Like when I hold it this way so you can really see, but it's notably bigger. It's like almost like tarot in a tin size, which we'll compare in a moment. I love the Nicolet. I do have it in full size, which you'll see whenever we get to that part of this deck collection series. But I love this deck. I love how intuitive it is, and it's really unique. So this is another one that I will often carry in my purse. So it's often either the Nicolet or the Everyday Witch mini. These are my main purse decks. I don't really use the mini for any other reason. I don't pull the mini out for client work, but I also don't pull the Nicolet Tarot out for client work very often. But there's something about this size. It's like big enough to really get your hands around it to shuffle it. I really like the size. It feels really, really good. So I'm going to keep a card out so we can just kind of see the difference as I look at these other minis here. So then we have, let's look at the Tarot of Oneness by Robinvoyy. I also have this in a full size. And this one is just slightly bigger, barely slightly bigger than the Low Scarabeo. So I don't know if you'll be able to see because it's pastel. You can see it's just it's the same exact width. It's just a hair higher or taller. And this also, again, it's like I said, it's tall enough, much like the Low Scarabeo one, to get your hands around it and shuffle it. The Low Scarabeo is a little easier to shuffle. This cardstock's a little stiffer, but I really like having a smaller size of this deck because I use this constantly for client work. I really love the Tarot of Oneness for client work. It's beautiful for that. And having a smaller one means I can pull it out for bigger spreads when I'm limited for space on my reading table. And she did include like a little guidebook in here as well. And there is an extra lover's card also. So love this little deck. I'll keep a card out so we can see the size differences. It's funny, we often think that minis are kind of all the same size, but they do actually vary quite a bit. So then we have the Pocket Wild Unknown. I kept this rather than a full-size Wild Unknown because this is another deck that I don't work with a ton. But I really love the mini version because I find that the Wild Unknown especially does really well in big spreads. And I've got reversals mixed into this version, actually. I find that this deck does really good in big spreads because it's not such a busy deck that I can really hone in on the messages. Also, I feel like the Wild Unknown is kind of a part of my personal tarot story, my tarot timeline or history, as it were. And I want to keep a copy just for collection's sake. But again, I don't read with it very often. I'm not super inspired by it these days, but I was mega inspired by it when it first came out. And I just like having a copy in my collection. Size-wise, I'm pretty sure this one is very similar. Yeah, it's almost identical. It's just, again, a hair taller than the Tarot of Oneness. And then we have the Light Seers Tarot, which I'm going to suspect is going to be the same size as this one. Let's see. Yeah, these are identical. So I'll put this one away when I'm done. But the Light Seers Tarot is just, again, it's a fantastic reader. I think my full size of this is currently put away. Like I'm not getting rid of it, but it's in storage. Because again, I love reading with this deck, but I've used it so much that I think I just got not bored of it, but kind of just used to it, and it stopped like shaking things up the same way. But having a mini, again, this is a wonderful client reader, and having decks of this size for bigger spreads is just, it's really great for variety for larger readings. So I really, really like that one. So that's safe. Okay. Different tarot in a tin size. We have the Universal Weight by US Games. I really do like this. It is my portable classic Rider-Waite-Smith. So I have this one for reference that I showed at the beginning of this video, the Debray version. When it comes to a mass market version of the Waite-Smith deck, I really, really like the Universal Weight. I like that it has been colored by Mary Hanson Roberts. It's got a colored pencil coloration style that's really soft and nice. And I was drawn to this. I used to use the Centennial as my travel or study tarot in a tin, and having a classic Waitesmith deck in a tin is convenient for things like classes and workshops. So this is what I have for that. So it's safe in my collection because it has a purpose. It has a specific use. Again, chuck it in my bag, chuck it in my suitcase for any events. It's perfect for that. And it has that kind of classic coloring, which I like. And this one actually has been chucked around. It's got some dents in the tin. Like, this is safe. And then my other deck in a tin is the White Sage Tarot, which again, I think this size is different. Oops. Oh, I was going to keep out for sizing. Hold on. We're trying to do a sort of pocket deck size comparison. So here we have, for comparison, deck in a tin compared to the Wild Unknown, compared to the Tarot of Oneness mini, and my personal favorite, the Lo Scarabeo mini, which is, so same exact dimensions it looks like, right? Just a little bit smaller in the Lo Scarabeo than in the tin size. But so we get wider, like more like a playing card shape. And then we have the White Sage Tarot in a tin. I freaking love this deck. And now we see a different form factor still. So just as wide, actually maybe just it's just a hair. Yeah, it is. It's about 1 millimeter or 2 narrower. There we go. Just 1 millimeter or 2 narrower than the universal weight in a tin, but it's taller. I love this one. And I actually went out of my way to get a copy of the out-of-print independent full-size version of this, and I didn't like it as well as the tin version. This is the perfect size for this deck. I don't think you need a full size of this. I think it's exactly right in this shape and size. And the cardstock by US Games is really, really lovely. It's not too stiff. It's got some good snap. And the indie version was a little floppy for my tastes. So my indie version, which is out of print, is currently in purgatory because I just always went back to this little tin version. I love this deck. It pulls in the chakras, which is a really great element. It's a pip deck, but it has that other layer, so I regularly use this. It just gives me a lot to work with, even though it's fairly minimalist, and I love the soft palette. Teresa Hutch is the artist. This is a gem, and hopefully it doesn't go anywhere. But let's keep this one out too so you can see for sizing. All right. Next up is the Crow Tarot Pocket Edition. Let's see if this one is the same as anything. Yes, it's the same as the tin. Oops, it's the same as the tin-sized decks. This was a novelty. I had the full-size Crow Tarot, and I picked up this little pocket because Peggy and I, we don't have pet crows, but we do have crows that visit our house regularly, and I love the crows. So I thought this would be fun to have. Have I been called or felt the desire to use this at all? No. I did just repurchase it though, so I'm going to hold on to it for now and see. I haven't done a reading like for or about the crows, but it might be fun to pull this out in the fall time. We'll see. We'll see. But it is sweet. It's a sweet deck, but I don't know. I don't know. It does come with a little guidebook. Oops. Which is great. Gives you what you need to read with it. So that's fun. And it's a fun little size. So that is safe for now, right? Yes. Okay. I'm not really minimizing. I can't with words today, apparently. Okay, let's pull this out. This is the tiny traveler version of the Sasarai Vito Tarot, which is a deck that I absolutely love. And this little traveler version is in linen cardstock, and it's lovely. And it is bigger by quite a bit. Actually, it's quite a bit taller than this size deck. I have this deck in full size. I think my full size might actually be in storage for now, because I think I'm only really working. I'm just looking on my hanging racks to see if I see it hanging up. And I don't. I think I actually do have the full size of this in storage, because lately, whenever I read with this deck, I go for this little traveler size version. So I might be able to actually let the full size go at some point, but it is a special deck. It's one of my favorites to read with. It reads really, really well. Got some very unique takes on the cards. I really enjoy this deck. So yeah, love that little Sasarai Vito Tarot. The reason my minis are in a basket right next to my reading table too is because I often reach for this size when I'm reading for clients and I'm doing like a Celtic cross spread or a big spread. Oh, I should probably, I think we're done with the size. Well, no. It's like I want to be able to show you the size comparison, because we think that minis have some kind of standard, and they really don't. This one, I am so torn about this because I freaking love the Rainbow Heart Tarot so much, and this little mini was not cheap. It was not cheap at all. But here's the thing. It is impossible to shuffle this version. It is so stiff that I cannot riffle it at all. It has no give whatsoever. I think it's the shape and the size combined. Cardstock is already quite stiff. I really probably should let it go because the fact that I can't shuffle means I can't use it, but I love this size. Like, it's so perfect for this deck. It's just not shuffleable. It's about the same. It's a little bit shorter, just a hair. Again, just probably like a millimeter or so shorter than the Tarot in a Tin size, but it's wider. This shape is perfect for this deck, but let me grab the full size so you can see the difference. The full size, which granted, this cardstock is beautiful. The new cardstock by this creator, it's the same as this. But I have an earlier edition of this deck that has a softer, like a bit more of a like bendy cardstock, and I prefer this. So I think actually I need to pull my full size out of storage where I'd put it. And I need to put the little pocket in purgatory because frankly, it's just, it's unusable in this size. I can't shuffle it. I can hand over hand it just fine, which if that's how you shuffle, this is such a sweet deck and it works so well in this size. I didn't even show you any images. Oh my gosh. It's got this kind of funky 70s vibe sort of thing. It's very colorful. I love the colors. It doesn't feel, I love that Nine of Cups too. I love this deck. But I actually realized I stopped reaching for it when I got the mini. Because I want the mini to be the deck I reach for. Because it's the perfect, like, these illustrations, like, really work so well at this size. Because they're not overly detailed. But they're bold, they're vivid, it's easy to see what you're looking at. So they're perfect at this size. It's just the cardstock is terrible. And it's not that it's a bad quality cardstock. It's just not the right tactile experience for me. So I think this one needs to go in the to-go pile. Okay, next up I have the Ashera Tarot. This is a little Thoth clone. This is also in a plain card size. It's got some like information cards that I keep with it. I really like this deck a lot, actually. It's got a lot of mandala type energy throughout it. You'll really see it. But it is a Thoth-based deck, and so far it is like one of my favorites. It's also on a really lovely linen, shuffleable, beautiful cardstock that just is a joy to work with. It's a plain card size, so it's a little bit wider than a Tarot in a Tin. It's just that, oh, I didn't do that on camera, but you get the idea, right? It's just like a beautiful, oh, it's so gorgeous. I love it. I love this deck. I love this deck. It really makes me feel like I want to work with Thoth energy. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's different. A lot of Thoth-based decks just feel like they're just another Thoth, and this one really goes kind of in its own direction, but stays true to the system. And from what little bit I know of Thoth, I have studied it, but I wouldn't say I'm at all a Thoth Tarot expert, but I really like the Ashera Tarot, so that one's safe. This deck's never really safe, but it's not going anywhere. I don't know how to describe it. This is the Llewellyn Tarot. It's a trimmed copy. I have like deliberately abused this deck. I took it to a live action role play. I like literally tried to distress it, and it's held up so well. This is like old Llewellyn cardstock, so it's kind of, it's hand cut. I did not properly trim this like with measurements and stuff, and yet I cannot bring myself to let it go. It's like soft and pretty. I never use it, but it feels like a piece of my, again, my tarot history. It's objectively pretty. I don't know why I don't reach for it more often, but I just don't. And part of me is like, I should let it go. But I also know that I like my trim job on this deck. What I did is I used a brown Sharpie, fine point Sharpie, to note the card number and its alchemical elemental symbol. Or if it was a major arcana, I just wrote, like, this is 14 Temperance on there. And actually, even though it's a hand cut, it still shuffles like halfway decently. Like, it's clumpy because it's hand cut, but it works. Like, it's fine. I don't ever read with it, but also I don't want to let it go. Because again, if I choose to get it again, which I could, it won't be like this. It won't be as beat up and worn in, and it'll have borders that I'll have to decide if I want to trim again. And the cardstock these days is a little bit different from Llewellyn. So I can't really ever quite get this exact version again, so it's safe. I'm not going to use it as a size comparison though, because it's hand cut. And then just two more left in this, no, three more left in this category. Two rock pool decks that are the exact same size. Let's take a look at these. So we have the Valoras Tarot, which this is another one that I can't decide how I feel about, because this is another one that I have the indie full size. And then it's so perfect for a pocket. So the original full size, I'm going to grab it again, I might as well, is the Penelope's Tarot. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. I'm just going to pull all my stuff out of storage, huh? Or maybe I hung the, hold on, I might have hung the Penelope Tarot back up because I did miss it. Okay, I don't know where my Penelope's Tarot is. I'm going to have to look for that. But I will say, this pocket version, let me just show you the sizing. It's, again, that sort of more playing card, so it's wider. This is the tarot in the universal weight in a tin. So I'll keep one of those out for comparison. It's fine. It's perfect in this size. I actually really like it. And this little mass market version actually has a little guidebook, although the text should really be darker. It's like turquoise on white, which is cool, but like not always very readable. In any case, the indie version didn't have a guidebook. And I do love the way that this deck looks in this form factor and this size, but the cardstock's kind of like, dare I say, Hay House feeling, but it's actually not warped the way that I thought it was. And I love the hot pink edging. So actually this is really cute. I don't know where my full size is. The full size actually had a couple printing flaws. Like there's I think the Ace of Swords, the sword is almost touching the top of the card because it was not quite fully in the safe zone area of the card template. But I actually really like this. It's Pippish, but it's Pippish with personality, I guess you could say, or Pips with feeling, as some might say. I really like this deck, so this is safe. I was thinking about whether or not it was actually safe, because I'm like, well, I really like my indie version, but I don't know where my indie version is. And I may have let it go, actually. But I also really like that this little mass market has a guidebook, so you can. I like guidebooks. I'm a guidebook girl. What can I say? I'm gonna put it at the bottom though. I do love the color palette. This is one of my few minimal color palette decks that I just really, really love. So that is the Valoras Tarot. I'll just keep it open for now. And then we have the Sweet Foragers Tarot by Sam Rook. I don't know about this one. I waited for this one for a long time, and I love Sam Rook's artwork in general. Like, really, really love it. In fact, this is by the same creator. This is also by Sam Rook. Please tell me I'm not lying. Why is the author's name? Oh yeah, Sam Rook. There we go. I love the Penelope/Valoras Tarot so much. This little Sweet Forager feels like it hits a lot of the same notes as the Rainbow Moon Tarot. And I don't actually agree. Is mine still in order? No. I don't actually agree with some of the, yeah, it's doing that weird, like, kind of 45-degree angle, like, diagonal warping that Hay House decks do, which I don't love. You know what? As cute as this is, I think I can put this on the chopping block, which I didn't think I was going to do, because I'm really just charmed by it. Like, it's super cute, and I'm such a fan of Sam's artwork, but I really prefer this little Valoria, and I don't think I need both. So I think, yeah, it's got just a bit of a twisty warp. It's very hard to see. Hopefully, I don't know if you can see it kind of from that angle. You can kind of see how these corners are kind of this way, and these corners are kind of this way. It's very slight. Love the green edging. I mean, this is a funky deck, but some of the choices for the cards I remembered from either from my walkthrough or from looking back at it just didn't quite sit right. I think this one I can let go. And again, remember, these are going purgatory, not away, but that one can go out of the basket for now. And that just leaves one more, which is wholly safe, of course. This is the Monstero Travel Edition. This is the biggest. I don't know that this would really count as like a mini. Like, you can really see it's quite... It's actually, I believe, let's check. I think it is the same size. Is it the same size as the Pipspeak? Almost. It's just a touch wider than the Pipspeak Tarot. So it's like that size. It's definitely similar tarot shape, but just shrunk down a bit. But you can really see, you know, we're getting quite a bit taller and certainly quite a bit bigger than something like that. Oh, I've got one more actually in the pile that is in my monthly favorites basket that I'll pull out. But anyways, you're going to see the Monst Tarot 3 times because I have 3 different copies of it on my channel. So I'll keep this quick. But I love the Monst Tarot, and this is like the perfect size and probably it's probably the Monst Tarot I use the most often. Even though I have a first edition and I have a trimmed second edition. So I have a borderless version of this deck. So like I said, I have 3 different versions of this deck. And this version, the travel edition, also comes with the guidebook. So you're not really missing out to get the little travel one. It's a lovely deck at this size, and it's in a magnetic box, which is a favorite. So, okay, so that is it. This gives you an idea of all the different sizings I have in mini decks. Let me put these away, and then we'll revisit. Oh, I've got one more. Hold on. One of my favorite minis, and probably the mini of all of these that gets the most use, is my Oak, Ash, and Thorn mini. And I'm hoping Stephanie also makes a Smoke, Ash, and Embers mini, which is her dragon deck in this size. And I think, size-wise, let's just compare. I think, yeah, it's like a bit smaller, and then we get like something like that, or like the Lo Scarabeo, right? So that gives you kind of like a rough scaling down of sizes. So it's like more like the Monst Tarot in that it's like a travelable size. It's not so small that I would call it like a mini. It's like there's a tarot in a tin, right? So it's a little bit taller, more tarot shaped than like this universal weight size. It's a nice size, truly. It's a really nice size. My Oak, Ash, and Thorn mini gets a ton of use because I freaking love using the Oak, Ash, and Thorn in Celtic Cross and other bigger spreads for clients. And I love using it for myself. It's very portable. I love this deck. The full size has gotten tons of use, but my little mini, I tend to reach for this a lot. I really like it. The cardstock's so shuffleable. It's held up really nicely. I love this little deck. So that one's of course safe. I made this little pouch for it myself. It's Peggy's design, of course, but I custom fit this little pouch to fit this deck because I wanted a good custom fit pouch. So we've gotten a good idea of sizes. Let me put all this stuff away and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm very pleased. My basket now looks very, very neatly organized. Everything fits, and I didn't do that on purpose. I just let go of a few things that I felt like I needed to let go of, that it was time to sort of squish out of or leave this thing. But we've got my Marseille and Pip decks here, Lenormand plus my little mini oracle here. And then all of my minis here and here. So it all fit very nicely. And then I've got my reference decks here in the back. So this worked out very, very well. I'm very pleased with this. So that is the first section in my collection and declutter series. This is going to be ongoing for, as I said, a while. I'm going to make these installments whenever I can, whenever I have an extra moment. I got to put this back in my favorites bin. I will make a new installment in this, and most of my decks, if you're not aware, hang on racks in my room. So I'll probably just take a rack at a time going forward, and we'll go over all the decks on that rack just so I can kind of like keep myself sort of organized. So we'll do Oracle, we'll do Tarot, and then I have at least one bookshelf and possibly a few other miscellaneous things that we'll cover. It's possible I may end up accidentally forgetting a deck or two during this whole process. I'm not going to sweat it. It is what it is. But as much as possible, I will put links down below for everything I just shared with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I personally freaking love watching collection videos. So this is like my favorite thing ever. And like I said, I haven't done one of these in a very, very, very long time. So my collection is always evolving. It's always shifting and changing, but I hope you enjoyed this. I'm babbling now, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, an extra big thank you goes out to my Unicorn Fam channel members. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. And to everybody watching, thank you so, so much. And until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye.